Walmart employees won't come right out and tell you this, but right now, there's one section of shelving that's getting cleaned out by shoppers every single week, while most customers walk right past it without a clue what's happening. You'd be awesome if you subscribed and liked this video. One Ozark Trail 40-ounce tumbler. You've probably seen those pastel tumblers blowing up on social media, priced sky high with people fighting over pre-orders. Walmart rolled out its own version under the Ozark Trail name, 40-ounce, just $14.98. On short-form video platforms, unboxing clips of this tumbler alone pulled in millions of views within the first few weeks of launch, and plenty of stores kept reporting sellouts in certain colors. Ice you drop in during the morning is still solid when you crack the lid open late in the afternoon, nearly 24 hours later. The double-wall stainless steel keeps temperature steady, feels solid in your hand, and won't sweat all over your table the way a regular plastic cup does. The trick is the vacuum gap between the two steel layers. Air gets pulled out almost completely, so heat has a hard time passing through. The same principle the pricier insulated tumblers rely on. Most of the price gap between the two comes down to the brand name printed on the side. Since the steel thickness and insulation setup are pretty much the same, the outer coating holds up well against scratches too. Drop it in a parking lot and you'll rarely see a chip. The lid has a slide-open drinking spout and one-handed operation, handy when you're driving and just want a quick sip. This season, Walmart added mint green and terracotta to the lineup, the two most sought-after colors in the collection right now. It costs less than a fast food meal and can last for years if you take care of it. At this price, it's hard to pass up if you're someone who carries water around all day. 2 Ninja Blender Duo, 1200 watts. Ice jamming under the blade is a familiar headache with any cheap blender. The Ninja Blender Duo fixes that with a 1200-watt motor strong enough to crush frozen fruit, ice cubes, and even hard nuts in a matter of seconds without that burnt motor smell. The regular price is $199, now marked down to $119, so you're saving $80 right off the bat, about a 40% cut from the original list price. With this kind of power, it sits in a category usually reserved for dedicated blenders that cost 2 or 3 times as much, thanks to a bottom-mounted motor paired with 6-sided blades stacked at offset angles that keep pulling ingredients down toward the base instead of letting them float around like they do in lower-powered machines. The pitcher has clear measurement markings and the blades cut evenly without needing you to stop and stir things around halfway through. Morning smoothies, cake batter, and crushed ice for a weekend get-together, all of it gets handled in about 30 seconds a batch, while lower-powered blenders often need double the time and still leave things chunky. If you're not in a rush, you might wait a few weeks since Walmart tends to run deep discounts on major kitchen appliances around Labor Day in early September. But if you need one now, an $80 markdown is already hard to argue with. 3 Magic Bullet 4-piece mini blender set. Some kitchen gadgets had their moment a decade ago, quietly disappeared, and are now making a comeback stronger than before. Magic Bullet is one of them. The 4-piece set costs $20.96, small enough to fit in one little cabinet, but it handles smoothies, protein shakes, frothed coffee, and even quick dinner sauces. The motor is small but spins fast, getting through most simple recipes in 15 to 20 seconds. The included cups come with screw-on lids, so you can blend and go without pouring into another glass, cutting out an entire step of dishwashing compared to a full-size blender. If you're living alone or only cooking for 2, a big, powerful machine is often overkill, and this set is just the right size, way cheaper than buying a full-size blender just to make one smoothie every morning. Its small footprint also makes it easy to tuck into a low cabinet without eating up counter space like those bulky upright blenders do. Cleanup is quick too. Everything comes apart easily, with no tricky corners where food gets stuck. At under $21 for 4 pieces, this is hard to find elsewhere since most similar sets on the market sell the pieces separately for a much higher combined total. There's one more item coming up that's making entire kitchens look a whole lot fancier, and it's priced so low that people have been asking employees to double-check the tag. 4 Beautiful by Drew Barrymore Touchscreen Toaster Oven. Just $69, while premium touchscreen models from other brands in this category usually run about 3 times that. The design has a soft pastel look, with a smooth touch panel instead of the mechanical buttons that trap dust in older ovens. Inside, there's enough room for a small whole chicken or a medium cookie tray, with separate settings for bake, reheat, broil, and defrost, each one adjusting its own temperature and timing instead of leaving you to guess and dial it in manually. What keeps people using it long-term isn't the looks, it's the even cooking. No burnt spots the way some cheaper ovens tend to leave, thanks to heating elements arranged symmetrically on both top and bottom instead of just one side. The glass door gives you a clear view so you don't have to open it up and check partway through, which just lets heat escape and messes with even cooking. A busy morning gets a little easier just from having a good-looking oven sitting out on the counter every day. Compared to touchscreen toaster ovens priced at $200 or more, the difference mostly comes down to brand name and a few smart connected features, while basic cooking performance is pretty much the same. At $69, this is worth considering if you want to upgrade your kitchen without blowing your budget. Number 5. The Le Duo 360 Airflow Styler. A wildly popular hairstyling tool priced at nearly $400 has plenty of people rethinking their purchase. The Le Duo 360 Airflow is a $47.98 alternative that curls and straightens in one device, using airflow instead of direct heat on your hair to cut down on damage. Since this version started showing up in hairstyling videos across social media, search volume for the product name has spiked noticeably compared to a few months back, and a number of stores had to restock faster than planned because it sold out within the first week on shelves. It works by blowing hot air around the styling barrel. Hair wraps around it from the pull of the airflow instead of being clamped and directly heated the way old-school curling irons work, which is why hair ends up less dry and damaged after repeated use. For thin hair or hair that's already been colored, this difference is much more noticeable compared to traditional heat styling tools. The attachments included let you go for big curls, loose waves, or root volume in one busy morning. The results aren't a perfect one-to-one match with the original, but with a price gap of over $300, that's a trade-off plenty of people are happy to make. It's lighter in the hand than expected, easy to hold while styling, and won't tire out your wrist like some of the heavier models out there. If you've been on the fence about spending big on a styling tool, this strikes a solid balance between performance and price. But that's not even the item people are lining up for the most. There's one more product coming up that's catching the attention of the athleisure crowd more than usual. 6. On CloudNova exclusive colorway. Not every color of this shoe is easy to find elsewhere. Walmart partnered up for a few colorways sold only here, priced at $119, while the standard version of this shoe usually runs $160 elsewhere. A $41 gap, even though the sole and cushioning technology inside are exactly the same. The cushion sole is soft. The shoe is lightweight and good for people who walk a lot or stand for long stretches during the day, and the style works fine for both office days and light workouts. For older adults dealing with heel pain or flat feet, the cushioning does a solid job of spreading out impact, cutting down on that achy feeling after a few hours on your feet, thanks to an AirPod cushion placed at the heel instead of spread evenly across the whole sole like a standard shoe. Because only certain colors are exclusive here, demand piled up fast on those specific colorways the moment they hit shelves. You're getting nearly the same experience as the pricier version. The only difference is you won't find this color anywhere else. With a $41 gap from the usual retail price, this is one of those rare cases where an exclusive colorway at one retailer ends up cheaper than the regular version. 7. Beautiful by Drew Barrymore Teddy Bouclé Swivel Chair. This chair spread fast across Pinterest and TikTok before a lot of people realized the actual price is just $298. Plenty of unboxing videos of this chair pulled in double the comment traffic asking where to buy it compared to other furniture pieces in the same collection. The Bouclé upholstery is soft and warm, giving off that magazine-worthy living room feel, while similar swivel chairs from higher-end brands often cost several times more, sometimes 3 to 4 times as much for the same upholstery material and style. The frame is sturdy and the swivel mechanism runs smooth without creaking after months of use. the way some cheaper chairs do, thanks to a metal swivel base instead of the plastic ones found in a lot of chairs at this price point. The tall backrest and thick cushioning noticeably ease pressure on your lower back compared to a regular sofa, good for anyone who reads or watches TV in the evening. The size is manageable too. It won't eat up too much space in a small living room, and it works with a lot of different decor styles. Good-looking furniture no longer has to come with a price tag that keeps you thinking it over for a week, and that's exactly why this chair has stayed so popular. 8. Olaplex No. 4 Bond Maintenance Shampoo. Damage from heat, chemicals, and overstyling is something a lot of people deal with, especially after years of coloring or straightening. Olaplex No. 4 shampoo costs $30 and uses a bond repair formula nearly identical to salon-only products, helping cut down on breakage and hold on to natural elasticity over time. It works by rebuilding the disulfide bonds inside the hair strand, which take the most damage from high heat or bleach and color chemicals. This isn't a shampoo that lathers up a ton for an instant clean feeling. It's built to reinforce the internal hair structure, so results usually show up clearly after a few weeks of regular use rather than after the very first wash. For thin or gray hair that tends to run dry, it leaves hair softer when combing through, noticeably cuts down on visible split ends, and helps color hold longer before fading. At $30, it's not cheap next to a regular drugstore shampoo, but compared to other products in the bond building category that usually run noticeably higher, this price is easy enough to accept for a bottle that lasts several months. There's one more item coming up that's solving a worry a lot of families with older loved ones living far away deal with every single day. 9. ONN Smart Security Camera with AI. A lot of people hold off on installing a security camera because they assume a good system always costs a few $100s just to feel secure about it. The ONN camera with built-in AI costs just $39, delivers sharp video, and sends automatic alerts when it picks up unusual movement around the house. This camera partners with Google's platform and can gradually learn the household's regular patterns to cut down on unnecessary false alerts. For instance, if a car pulls in and out at the same time every day, the system recognizes that as familiar activity instead of flooding you with notifications the way a basic motion sensor camera would. Setup is pretty simple, connecting through your phone in a few minutes. No need for a professional installer like some bigger systems require. For older adults living alone or kids living far away who want to check in on their parents, this is a lot more accessible than a full security package running $200 or more with monthly fees attached, since this camera doesn't force you into an expensive storage subscription just to view basic footage. Nighttime video quality has also improved noticeably compared to older budget cameras. There is no more blurry or pitch black footage once the sun goes down. 10. Chefman Extra Large Waffle Maker. Restaurant-style breakfast used to mean eating out. Now you can make it right in your kitchen with the Chefman Waffle Maker for $24.98. It's bigger than a standard waffle maker, producing thick waffles with crispy edges and soft centers, close to what you'd get at a hotel breakfast while traveling, thanks to a deeper grid that holds more batter per pour. An automatic indicator light lets you know when it's done, so you're not guessing or lifting the lid partway through and ending up with an undercooked waffle. The non-stick coating holds up well and cleans up fast afterward. No long soaking required like some older models need. If you've got grandkids around or like hosting weekend breakfasts, this brings a comforting, nostalgic feel, like those slow mornings gathered around the table. At under $25 for an extra large waffle maker, this price is hard to find since most machines this size elsewhere usually cost double, especially ones with a deep grid and similar high-quality non-stick coating. If you thought you needed to eat out for a good breakfast, this proves otherwise for a very small amount of money. The list isn't done with breakfast yet. Next up is something people chasing a healthier lifestyle keep mentioning to each other in recipe sharing groups. 11. Gourmia 5-quart digital air fryer. Eating healthy every day sounds like a lot of extra work, but the Gourmia air fryer, 5 quarts, at $49 makes it a lot more manageable. The digital display clearly shows temperature and time, with built-in presets for potatoes, chicken, fish, and vegetables, so you don't have to keep adjusting settings yourself. The outer design is fairly compact, fitting on most kitchen counters without taking up as much room as some larger capacity models. 5 quarts is enough to cook for a family of 3 to 4 in one batch, so there's no need to split it into 2 rounds like smaller units that usually top out around 3 quarts or less. The non-stick basket is removable and dishwasher safe without any issues after repeated use, saving cleanup time compared to air fryers with fixed trays that are hard to scrub in the corners. Compared to name brand air fryers with similar capacity that usually sell for noticeably more, $49 with a digital touchscreen is a gap worth paying attention to. If you're trying to eat healthier or cut down on oil in your daily meals, this is a small investment that brings a real change to your kitchen habits. 12 Mainstays 12-pound weighted blanket. Restless sleep is something a lot of older adults deal with, and weighted blankets have been coming up more and more as a solution over the past few years. The Mainstays blanket, 12 pounds, costs $34 and uses gentle pressure spread evenly across the body to create a hugged feeling. This is based on the idea that this kind of pressure triggers a sense of safety similar to being held, helping a lot of people fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. The outer fabric is soft and doesn't trap heat, the way some cheaper weighted blankets do with poorly ventilated synthetic material, and the weighted filling inside is divided into small pockets so weight doesn't bunch up in one spot when you turn over. 12 pounds is typically the recommended weight at about 1/10 of the user's body weight. A good fit for someone of average size, not too heavy to feel uncomfortable when shifting positions at night. Compared to specialty weighted blankets of similar weight and material that usually sell for noticeably more, $34 is a solid savings without much drop in perceived quality. If you deal with stress at the end of the day or have trouble winding down before bed, this inexpensive item makes a real difference in how well you sleep each night. It's also machine washable, so there's no dry cleaning required like with some higher-end versions. There's one last item on the worth buying list, small, but the kind of thing you don't fully appreciate until you try it and realize you don't want to go back to your old kettle. 13 Beautiful by Drew Barrymore 1.7-liter electric kettle. An electric kettle seems like it should just boil water and be done with it, but this $39 version comes with multiple temperature settings suited to green tea, black tea, hand-poured coffee, or warming up baby formula without bringing it to a full boil, since each drink usually needs its own specific temperature to bring out the best flavor. The outer design has a minimalist look with soft colors that fit into a lot of modern kitchens, a big step up from the plain white plastic kettles people are used to. The 1.7-liter capacity is enough for several cups of tea in a row without reheating multiple times during a busy morning, about 6 to 7 medium cups per full kettle. The base shuts off automatically once it hits the set temperature, cutting down on the risk of forgetting it on the stove the way a traditional stovetop kettle does, while also saving electricity by not heating past what's needed. Brewing tea at a specific temperature is a habit a lot of people have, and having multiple heat settings available is the big difference compared to an electric kettle that only boils at one fixed setting. Compared to similar kettles from premium kitchen brands, $39 is pretty easy on the wallet for a small upgrade you'll use every single day. But before you head to checkout, there are 4 more items sitting right on the shelf that deserve a closer look before they go in your cart, because not every cheap item is worth the money. 4 products to avoid: unbranded USB cables and portable chargers. Priced from just $5 to $15, these sound appealing, but this is the category most likely to cost you money in the long run out of everything on this list. Unbranded cables usually use thin copper wiring, charge much slower than name brand cables, and after a few months tend to fray internally even though the outer casing still looks fine. Cheap portable chargers are even more concerning since the battery protection circuitry often gets cut to lower costs, raising the risk of overheating during overnight charging. The battery cells inside are often recycled or haven't gone through the same rigorous safety testing as major brands, which is why these batteries tend to swell up after months of regular use. For anything dealing directly with electricity and lithium batteries, saving a few dollars over a name brand product isn't worth the risk of a fire or a ruined device that's plugged in charging. Mainstays Basic Dinnerware Set. Priced around $15 to $30, this dinnerware set looks like a great deal if you're setting up a new kitchen, but pick up a few plates from the set and you'll notice the glaze is fairly thin, chipping easily after just a few light bumps in the sink. The thickness across pieces in the same set is inconsistent too, a common sign of high-speed molded ceramic production used to cut manufacturing costs. After a few months of regular use and dishwashing, the surface tends to develop tiny scratches, making the dishes look worn a lot faster than thicker stoneware, which is usually fired at higher temperatures for a harder surface. This set works fine for temporary needs, like a dorm room, but it's not a lasting choice for a family table used every day. If you're planning to use dinnerware for years, it's worth spending a bit more on thicker stoneware, which ends up saving money over having to replace a whole set after just a year. Unbranded earbuds and headphones. At $10 to $25, this unbranded category looks like an easy, quick fix when you need a replacement fast. But the sound quality tends to be thin, lacking bass, and both music and phone calls come through less clearly than name-brand headphones at the same price, largely because the internal speaker drivers use cheap materials that can't accurately reproduce lower frequencies. The ear padding on a lot of these models is made of hard plastic or poorly cushioned foam, uncomfortable during long wear and even painful for anyone with sensitive ears. Wired versions tend to fray internally at the connector, while wireless versions often lose connection intermittently after a few months of use, due to low-cost Bluetooth chips that aren't optimized to hold a stable signal. If you use headphones for audiobooks or video calls with grandkids, poor sound quality and a spotty connection can end up being more frustrating than the money you saved up front. On a tight budget, you're better off going with a name brand pair at a slightly higher price than settling for a poor listening experience every day. George Basic Apparel. T-shirts, socks, and everyday basics from the George brand are priced affordably, just $5 to $15, tempting you to stock up for everyday wear. But the fabric in this basic line tends to be heavy on synthetic blends, shrinking easily after a few washes, with the fit losing its shape after just a month of regular wear, since the low cotton content doesn't hold up well against the heat of a dryer. Colors fade faster than expected too, especially darker shades like black or navy, because the dye isn't set as thoroughly as it is in higher-end fabric lines. The stitching on some pieces is fairly loose, coming undone at the shoulder seams or sock cuffs after a short period of use. This line works fine for temporary needs like work clothes or loungewear that doesn't need to last, but it's not a great choice if you want something you'll be wearing regularly for months. Smart shopping really comes down to one simple rule. A low price isn't a reason to buy something. Consistent quality at that price is the real reason. The first 13 items are worth the money because they balance both of those things, while the last 4 only win on price and fall short on durability and long-term use. Pick the item up and remember this rule before it goes in your cart. Shop smart out there.